Welcome back to Degree Listeners, everyone. I'm your host, Shanghai Pete, the world's most stunning and brave culture critic, 21st century digital boy, the people's champion, trusted member of the media, and of course, your good buddy in the mix. I'm sure we got a lot of beautiful people out there listening today. Thank you so much for chilling with us tonight. We really do appreciate your support. Let's get right into it. Today, we're going to take a quick minute to shed some light on the just absolutely ridiculous state of pop culture politics, just discourse in general, really. Now, as I'm sure most of you are well aware, pretty much every corner of every genre of internet fandom and even politics has been infiltrated by a very bizarre trend. Yes, some people call them NPCs, some people call them SJWs. Those people of all shapes and sizes have invaded all of your favorite IPs, masquerading as fans, while in fact they're only there to virtue signal and collect victim points.
It's true.
No, these people do not actually care about Star Wars or your favorite anime or video games or comic books or anything else. They only want to use your fandom to farm fake outrage. They're not about social justice, they're about in-group signaling among fellow aristocrats, and they're using our favorite shit to do it. This is how you have the lunacy of get woke, go broke, because these people are all convinced that they have an audience that doesn't exist. They don't understand that hate clicks don't represent an actual fan, just someone who fell for your agitprop and clicked out of sheer morbid curiosity. There is no passion or legitimate interest here, and even the so-called SJWs who are clicking are just doing so to have their power fantasy validated. They're not buying your comic book, paying for a movie ticket, or pre-ordering your game. So, if you're a normal person and not utterly insane, I'm sure you've wondered exactly where the all these rejects came from and how it happened so fast. I'm relatively sure you've also been inundated with an enormous range of theories as to why that is, some accurate, some not so much. So, I was watching an episode of Tim Pool's podcast recently, and in about 3 minutes, he summed this shit up so fucking succinctly in a way that I've never really heard anybody do before, that I was like, I need to comment on this and I need to talk about it because it's really fucking genius. So, here's the truth. The insane, monstrous humans involved in this sick little cult don't actually care about anything that they pretend to. Not diversity, not inclusivity, not woman power, or anything else. They care about in-group signaling. They care about the illusion of wielding power on the internet. I know it's so laughable, but that really is the case. And see, the reason for that is because this isn't a natural phenomenon, okay? It's not an organic, legitimate movement like the gay rights movement or the civil rights movement or something like that. And the reason for that is because Facebook created this. That's right. NPCs, SJW, woke culture in general was created by fucking Facebook. Facebook and a few others, but it really started with them. So it's actually very simple. We're going to break it down very quickly, so we don't have to listen to any more of these videos where legitimate content creators that I actually really like continue to talk as though oh god, this is a real thing, and oh, it's so horrible, and these people are so stupid. No, it's not real. It's all fucking fake. We're going to get to the bottom of it. Here we go. Okay, so Facebook. In the beginning, there was Facebook. Facebook, through analytics, was able to determine what type of content people engage with the most very early on in their platform. So they started applying easily quantifiable keywords to that content. They then set about optimizing their feed algorithms to funnel content featuring those keywords to the top of everybody's feeds. Makes sense, right? Nothing crazy there. So then, as a result, you have everybody's feed, 2.5 billion people, getting flooded with shit that does nothing but cause agitation, like feminism, woke outrage, etc. Or outrage of any kind, really. Now, it didn't take long for people to start to notice this, and then companies started to arise, like Huffington Post and Vox, that did nothing but write articles about this kind of shit, because they knew that the keywords would see engagement. They were guaranteed clicks, right? News media and media of any kind really is failing all over the place. This is the perfect thing to get them out of the fucking hole, right? So, and predictably, then you have clowns on Facebook posting about it, then someone else would retweet it, enabling these same outlets to write even more articles about the fact that X number of people were tweeting about it, and thus was created a self-perpetuating cycle, and only the most woke, attention-grabbing, outrage-causing stories and headlines were promoted. But It didn't stop there. Now this is where it gets truly fucking sick, right? These outlets then realized that if they started mixing keywords about one topic together with other keywords from a completely different and unrelated topic, you would get traffic and clicks from communities engaged with both topics instead of just the one, instantly creating a much larger potential audience and as a result, a much larger amount of potential revenue, which is really the important thing anyway. So this is how we got intersectionalism. Yeah, this is how it happened, not organically created by fucking algorithms, okay? So I'll use Tim Pool's example. Let's say you write an article about feminism and you put it on Facebook. Now you get interaction from people from that community who are interested in that. All well and good, whatever. And then if you write an article about fat shaming and feminism, now all of a sudden you're getting interaction from both communities. This is how intersectional feminism became the predominant ideology, because it combines all oppression groups. Everybody can play the victim now, whee! Now to continue with Tim's example, let's say then you write an article about trans women, you get 100K views. You then write another article about Black Lives Matter, another 100K views. Then you write an article on police brutality and get yet another 100K views. On the surface, absolutely nothing wrong with any of that. No problem, right? Completely legitimate news topics. But what if you then write an article about trans women of color leading the Black Lives Matter charge against police brutality? Boom, 300K views, triple the views just for one article instead of 3. Costs go down, you don't have to pay writers as much, they don't have to do as much work, and revenue goes through the fucking roof based on your fucking carefully cultivated intersectional hate bait. See? Kind of brilliant, right? I mean, fucked up and insane, but also very brilliant if you're one of the people in charge of these places, right? So naturally this spread quickly to every corner of mainstream media because, as we've said, and everyone knows, they've been getting killed by independent creators and shit like Adblock. So in their desperation to save their archaic and dying business model, they embraced this lunatic garbage. It's infecting politics, movies, comic books, and of course, video games. Trash tier outfits like Kotaku, Polygon, IGN are no different. That's how you get insane nonsense like an article on how Sonic the Hedgehog should be gay. Two things that on the surface are completely unrelated. Then you have people like us reading that and being like, wait, what the fuck is this? How are these two things related in any way? I'm confused. I don't have any problem with gay things. I don't have any problem with Sonic the Hedgehog, but naturally I'm a little perplexed when I see them being combined, because from my perspective, as a legitimate fan of video games and Sonic the Hedgehog especially, I don't see how those things go together, right? Like, Sonic the Hedgehog is a video game about a blue hedgehog collecting rings and saving animals and fucking up evil Dr. Robotnik, right? So I would think that any coverage or anything talking about Sonic the Hedgehog would be from a perspective of someone who's interested in the things that make Sonic cool, right? And not on things that have absolutely nothing to do with video games or Sonic the Hedgehog at all. Like, that would be like if we saw an article talking about, what do you think Sonic the Hedgehog's opinion would be on real estate in South Florida? Now, I don't have a problem with South Florida or real estate, but I would question what either of those things have to do with a 16-bit game about a blue hedgehog and why a media outlet supposedly focusing on video games would be combining those two topics together. And then I would be especially confused if I voiced my curiosity and confusion about that and then was then subsequently attacked by people telling me that I was racist against real estate people, right? That would be an absolutely, utterly absurd thing to have occur, but essentially that's what's happening. But that's how this happened. This is how you get all these seemingly unrelated things combined together with IPs and topics that people already know will generate lots of clicks, lots of readership, lots of attention, right? We can just take our insane ideas and just pair them with an already established fan base like Star Wars or video games, and then we'll immediately have a lot of people that we've baited with this agitation propaganda in order to get clicks. Makes sense, right? I mean, it's obviously awful, but it does make sense. See, these woke media companies, they've been manipulating the algorithm and creating these psychotic ideologies that no one in their right mind would ever intentionally subscribe to and would never and could never be created organically. See, the gay and civil rights movements, those arose out of a need, a genuine need, a real need for humanity to move forward. Woke outrage culture arose out of a need too, but not a societal need, a monetary need. A monetary need for mainstream media outlets that were slowly being driven out of business. There's a big difference. Shill media can't afford to rely on their writers' judgment regarding what qualifies as an interesting story anymore. Ad revenue is down too much. They're losing too many clicks to YouTubers and independent outlets that are actually telling people the truth instead of just shilling for whatever corporation happens to be paying their bills that month. So once the easy money of intersectional outrage hate clicks was discovered, all outlets immediately switched all content to fit that. These people only look at numbers, the algorithms that show how many clicks are coming in, how many clicks are coming into what stories, and as a result of what keywords are driving the most traffic. Again, this is how you have people getting surprised by Get Woke, Go Broke, because they don't understand that there is a big difference between all traffic that's generated through this algorithm and by baiting people using fake outrage and an actual real fan who's interested.
So it's complicated.
So they see all the traffic coming to the site to all these articles, and their natural conclusion is, oh, well, there's all this traffic, so obviously there must be a huge audience out there. All these numbers will then go and buy the comic book, pay for the movie tickets, buy the video game, whatever. They don't understand that there is a difference. Like, to an extent, they've actually even fooled themselves into thinking, I mean, I'm sure there's some people who really actually are aware of what's going on, but I would guess that the majority of people at these mainstream media outlets, a lot of them probably think that it's really because of their writing and their stunning and brave topics and their willingness to take on the hard issues that's driving traffic. They probably really think that. I mean, and to an extent, I guess it is kind of easy to believe if you are trapped in your own little echo chamber. I mean, it probably is. I mean, you've all seen the internet, you know how many idiots there are out there. That's why woke culture seems so bizarre and disingenuous to most of us normal people who aren't stuck inside a fringe Twitter bubble, because it's not the result of a legitimate social movement, it's just small-minded whack jobs falling prey to algorithm manipulation, nothing more. Most people do not want to live in a stressful, fearful environment where someone is always lurking around the corner waiting to cancel them, okay? I've said it 1,000 times, this isn't real. I mean, so that's really the thesis. The internet ruined everything, but more specifically, it was social media. And no one gives a f if Sonic the goddamn Hedgehog is gay. So hopefully, this can be the last time I ever have to address this or talk about it. I mean, something tells me it probably won't, but, you know, we can hope, right? This stuff isn't real, it's not a movement, it's not a sea change in our culture. It's a temporary phenomenon created by out-of-control algorithms and caused by the rapid rise of social media and widespread adoption of the internet. And as can be observed throughout the course of human history, whenever you take a monumental leap forward in technology and then combine it with the idiotic masses of humanity, the result is always chaos, at least for a little while. So, it's not real, it will pass, we all just need to ignore it and it'll go away. Hopefully sooner rather than later, because I'll be honest, I'm really not sure how much of this shit I can take. Well, that brings us to the close of yet another stunning and brave episode of Degreelessness. I was legitimately trying to make this a short video, I really was, but when I start complaining about something, I find it very hard to stop, as I'm sure anyone who's actually watched any of my videos has noticed long ago. Hopefully some of you did watch this entire video though, and didn't just click off when I said something that pissed you off, because this one's actually kind of important. I think that it would do a lot of help the more people that are able to hear this and actually maybe fucking learn something. Okay, so anyway, that is our show. Thank you so much for chilling with us. We do love you today, and we love you all the way. You better fucking believe it. You know, actually, maybe fuck it. Hey, like the video, share it, comment and subscribe, please. Yeah.